What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, COD is crumbling. It is crumbling very badly, and we're watching it in 4K as we speak. Today, I have a couple of things I want to go ahead and discuss with you guys, and I'm going to be honest, by the end of this, I think people will be kind of happy, honestly. I don't think too many people are going to be mad or down bad about a lot of these changes, although it means Call of Duty is indeed crumbling and it's, going downhill. At the end of the day, I think for the core COD community, people will like to hear what's going on. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch. And actually, today on Tuesday, we are not going to be streaming, just so you guys know, but we will be back on Wednesday. So if you guys are interested, I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as you can see right here from Charlie Intel, breaking Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Warzone Season 3 is delayed until April 3rd. Yes, you heard that correctly. We have to wait basically over a whole month to see new content introduced into the Black Ops 6 experience, which is going to be a very rough one because, as everybody knows, this game is not only running into major performance issues, so we need some major updates to drop for this game, but at the same exact time, it needs content, maps, desperately. The mass majority of the maps in Black Ops 6 are the size of Shipment and Nuketown. We need more variety. And within Season 2, we got some decent maps. The maps Bounty and Dealership, really solid. I enjoyed them. But we need more than just that until, the map rotation has some real, true variety, and not over half the picks are going to be small, close range, BS maps. We need just a slight bit more, and Season 3 was going to bring exactly that. But now that's going to be pushed back, and we have to go through another drought within this game, which in all reality isn't the best of news. It's solid because, again, they can work on the game and make sure everything is polished off, but in all reality, this game has already lost a tremendous amount of players. Not many people are even planning to come back. And those who were planning to come back, after they hear this is going to be postponed for another month plus, I feel like they're just going to simply move on, especially when other games like Splitgate 2 are in the works. And, we have Battlefield coming up around the corner, GTA 6. So many other titles are about to drop. Well, not about to drop, but, they are around the corner. I feel like people's interests are just going to switch around, and they're not even going to bother returning to this game. But I actually saw a response from JGod saying, good. People ask them to delay if it's not ready. And when they do, people ask, why? And low-key, JGod makes a pretty good point here. Usually 9 times out of 10, when it comes to, a lot of the updates or when a game comes out, first and foremost, it's better to be patient with them, and I've always kept that same mentality. If we weren't in such a emergency situation, I probably wouldn't be, having the opinions that I have right now for this content being pushed back. But since it is an emergency situation and we need stuff, at the end of the day, it's a rough spot to be in, right? It's like, it's good because we all respect when a team wants to make sure everything comes out neat. But when the game is already in a bad spot and it needs to be redeemed quickly, it's not exactly what you want to see. But to be honest with you guys, I think the Ghost of Hope's response is 10 trillion times better. And it kind of, just shows why the community doesn't care and they're not willing to see all this content postponed. As you can see right here, it'll still be broken on launch. This is the response to JCut. It's true, though. Is the Ghost of Hope lying or not? They are going to postpone it for another month plus. But what are the odds that if they do that, they are still going to run into issues and the update's going to launch in a horrible spot and they're still going to have to take months on top of months on top of months to fix it up and get it into a better state. And the worst part about it, I know multiplayer is still suffering from performance, as you can see in the footage here. This is the only game that I can't record without it stuttering for some stupid reason because it's the worst optimized game known to mankind. It's actually a joke. But at the end of the day, this postponed situation is for Warzone. They want to make sure that Warzone is in the best spot possible. It's sinking, ladies and gentlemen. Warzone is barely outviewing itself over on Twitch compared to the multiplayer experience. And usually multiplayer is at the bottom of the bracket when it comes to Twitch views, and Warzone is blowing it out of the water. It could barely compete now. Absolutely wild to witness. And they know this. They know that they have to go ahead and nail Warzone and get things straight, so they are prioritizing all of their assets into making sure it's perfect, which means that the multiplayer content is getting postponed because of Warzone, something that has nothing to do with the core Call of Duty experience, because we all know Call of Duty is about 6v6, zombies and campaign, and Spec Ops sometimes, which is slowly turning into DMZ. But Warzone is something completely different. It should be its own identity, its own thing, but it's not. And it gets prioritized before the core of CoD every single time. And I bet you we are not going to get any extra content for multiplayer. We're going to get the same amount of content that we were going to get when the season launched, with nothing more, because again, they don't care. They're going to postpone the whole thing just to make sure that Warzone is in a perfect spot. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't just end there. Like I said, it continues to get worse and worse. As you can see right here, rumor, details on Call of Duty 2026 Modern Warfare 4. Not releasing on old gen PS4, Xbox One, in development on next generation Xbox dev kits, UI may be more traditional like older games, engine updates to fix visual clutter issues, and Warzone may not be supported if Verdansk does not do well. This right here summarizes it all up. And for anybody who's saying, well, how do you know that, they postponed Season 3 because of Warzone? This is why. First and foremost, I mean, it is good news to hear that old gen is kind of getting phased. I know it's rough to hear, but that's the only way we can get good performance in the games well optimized. They need to stop trying to branch it out across the board for everybody. We have to allow the devs to, hyper focus in on a set amount of consoles so they can optimize this game already, and we can stop dealing with all this garbage that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And also the fact that the UI is going to be more traditional, that sounds great. And also the engine update to fix visual clutter, that is outstanding, because that's one of the biggest issues with the Infinity Ward games, the visual freaking clutter. And the fact that they want to go ahead and adjust this sounds pretty good. No guarantees it will be good, because Infinity Ward is the most egotistical dev team, but so far, I'm not disappointed with what I hear. But the fact that Warzone may not be supported if Verdansk does not do well is huge, ladies and gentlemen. And this is where I was saying earlier in this video, some people might like this news, because that means Warzone might not be a thing much longer. They might be seeing that, again, that's not their identity. Other companies and other games have already established themselves as true BRs: Fortnite, Apex, PUBG. Games that if you look at it and you say, oh, what is PUBG? Someone's going to say a BR. Oh, what is Fortnite? A BR. Oh, what is Apex Legends? A BR. If you ask someone what Call of Duty is, the identity is stretched so far and thin now that nobody has a freaking clue. But I don't think many people, will really look at CoD and still say it's a battle royale, because it technically is not, right? This is a side mode introduced into CoD. And I'm genuinely starting to believe that Activision is seeing that they caught lightning in a bottle when it came to Verdansk in the time period that they let it out, right? Again, it was a lot of luck that, helped them in the long run when it came to that time period. And the fact that they are really putting all their chips on the fact that Verdansk will be a potential savior truly, to me, shows that they believed that that was the time period that they did well, and that's what they have to do again. And if it doesn't do well, then they are out of ideas. They have no clue what to do in order to, keep things running. And like I said, it's going to be hard. They're going to have to separate Warzone, make it a separate IP, let them do their own thing, and not integrate every Call of Duty game into that experience. It's overwhelming. It's way too much. Changing the gameplay every year, changing the flow every year, changing the weapons every year. Although it's good for Call of Duty, even though I think Call of Duty should be on a 2 to 3 year cycle, but at the end of the day, it's still a fresh game, and we know we're buying into a fresh game. When someone thinks of Warzone, they don't think they're going into Warzone as a fresh game. It's just simply Warzone, and it keeps recycling into something different. But in all reality, you guys know me. It might offend some of you guys, but I'm totally okay with Warzone getting scrapped out of the Call of Duty cycle. I don't even want to see a blackout. I don't want to see any PR at this point. I want them to prioritize 6v6 and make it their freaking focus, as they should. And when they get it back on track, then yeah, maybe make a separate IP, not under Call of Duty. It could be about Call of Duty, but make a separate IP for a battle royale. Make it one foundation where people will get used to it. Maybe you could pop off and make something work. But for the time being, they have to stick to the roots. But ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I have to share with you guys. I just wanted to share all this information and showcase to you all that Call of Duty is indeed getting screwed. I mean, seriously, they're postponing these seasons to perfect Warzone, and they also have an idea that Warzone might not last in the long run. they are definitely feeling some pain behind the scenes. And then, like I said, it's been an interesting time watching this all unfold. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, if you guys are interested, gotta link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.